Can you see my agenda scrolling if I, can you see if I click on something right now? No? All right, hold on. Now can you see like my mouse moving? Okay, thank you. Okay, Dave is here now. Alyssa wanted me to let you know, let her know when you were here, Dave, so.
I'm here.
Okay, so we ready? I have the YouTube is started.
If everyone would be patient for just a few moments, I have to unmute all of the board members.
Hey, Jody.
Okay, you must be one of them somewhere on it. No, go all the way up then. Try that going up. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, do that one. Scroll, now scroll over here.
Can you ask Alyssa if she can unmute me?
Okay.
Never mind, I got it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it sounds like we're unmuted.
George, if you could just let me know, this is Alyssa, if you could let me know if there's anybody not present tonight, so that
I believe Mr. Guth is the only one not present, Mrs. Zamioli.
Okay, there's a few more I need to unmute. I just need to scroll through the whole list here. If you give me
Okay.
one moment, I'm sorry. You know, by chance, I'm missing Brian Snyder and Michelle Price. If they have different screen names.
I think Brian might be listed under Julia Snyder.
Thank you, Meg.
Sure.
Scott, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, how are you?
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, it looks like I have everyone except Michelle.
Julia just sent a chat there saying that was her, not Brian.
Oh.
Sorry, Julia.
There's a lot of people.
I'm still not seeing either of their names come up.
We didn't see Michelle. We didn't see Michelle in executive session, so.
Was there?
Yeah, I saw Michelle.
Was there?
There, yeah, she was there. My apologies.
Does she know she has to join a different meeting now?
Can anyone text either of them
We're waiting for Brian?
and Michelle?
Okay, I'll text Brian.
And I just sent
And
them
Michelle.
a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it.
Okay. Can you do a test?
Test 1, 2.
No.
It's still a little loud.
Any better?
Test 1, 2.
No. You know what it is? Let me turn. Why am I hearing it through here? Oh. Now try.
Test 1, 2.
Oh, but we just can't hear it through here, but I think that's okay. So I can turn
I'll
it.
speak loud enough that that camera can pick me up.
Okay.
Brian says he's hanging at a waiting for meeting screen.
He's at the wrong meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave, is there a lot of folks in the, sitting there?
There's nobody here.
No?
The only people here are staff.
Oh.
Listen, can you see if Megan's on, or, I'm sorry, Michelle's on there, she said she just got on.
I wonder if I turn this back
did
on.
she say what her screen name is?
You asked her.
Can you do a test again, Dave? Can you just say test again?
Test 1, 2.
I have to turn it off completely. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Brian says he can hear everyone.
Okay, they're not coming up on my first comment. I'll keep scrolling if you want to start the meeting, and if they wanted to speak, they can take it to the chat feature until I can get this working.
Do you have to refresh?
No, I'm seeing participants come and go.
Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
And
Yes.
thank you. The problem, if I have to read a statement and I'll go through it.
So maybe I'll do a 20 minutes, just so that we can pick it up better. I don't think we'll hear it by the YouTube.
Will that reach over here?
I'll try.
Think we're ready to go?
Alyssa, I think Michelle is on as Price M.
Is your volume over?
Right. Am I in?
I hear you, Brian.
Okay, sorry about that. What happened was I had to clear the history of the Zoom. It had like the other meetings in there. I think I'm falling to the incorrect one. I apologize. I'm going to clear the history and then repaste it.
I have to change the setting.
Oh, that's gonna screw me up big time.
Okay, never mind. So
I
never
can
mind.
hear.
We're ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'd like to call this meeting to order, and certainly for any of the public that is viewing online, indulge in your
acceptance of our delay to make sure that we had everything in working order. But we are now ready to call the meeting to order. And Mr. Pipparata, if I could ask you for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Sure. All right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Ramirez, you have the roll noted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, with that, once again, before we start, I just want to thank the administrative team and everybody that had a hand in making sure that we could do a virtual meeting for our Board of Education meeting this evening. Trust me, it took a lot of effort and cooperation of everybody to be able to make sure that we were able to continue with our meeting and not have to postpone it to any later dates. With that, Superintendent Pipparata, if we can move into your report, please.
Absolutely. Before I start my report, I just want to comment to the community for public comment this evening. All of the members of the public will be muted during the meeting. Only members of the board and administration will be unmuted throughout the meeting. If you would like to make a public comment, please open the chat feature and type either agenda item or non-agenda item and your screen name, and your address. Our moderator will unmute you at the appropriate time and you will have 5 minutes to speak. In order to maintain compliance with the Easton Area School District Policy 903, public participation at board meetings, the chat feature should only be utilized to notify the moderator of your wish to speak during the identified comment periods. Even though the meeting is being conducted remotely, there is still a requirement to conduct the meeting in an orderly and efficient manner, and therefore the chat feature should not be utilized in any way to provide written commentary outside of the identified public comment periods. Thank you. Okay, so to start my report this evening, I wanted to provide the board a little bit of an update as to what's been happening over the last 11 days.
You're hearing yourself come through your screen.
Yeah, but we're getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Are you guys hearing that feedback, board members?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're okay now. So before I start, I obviously need to thank the administrative team, our building administrators, our directors and supervisors for their dedication and hard work the last 2 weeks. I've truly been amazed at the progress that we've made in such a short period of time. And I'd like to start by reading a quote to the board that came out of a Lehigh Valley Live article. Quotes from Dr. Mark DeRocco, who is the PASA president and was a longtime superintendent. And he said, quote, "This is severely unprecedented in our history, and we are asking districts to pivot on a dime here. They're asking school leaders to do a lot in a short time." Of course, we all know that's so true. So let me give you a little bit of a timeline and a summary as to what we've been up to. If you recall, Governor Wolf closed schools on Friday, March 13th, and he made the announcement at approximately 3 p.m., really with no warning to the school district leaders or any school administrators across the Commonwealth. Prior to that declaration, the Northampton County superintendents had been communicating all week and determined that we were going to remain open through the following week in order to prepare our staff and students for the possibility of extended closures. When the governor decided to close all the Pennsylvania schools without any advance notice to school leaders, every district in the Commonwealth was forced to forge ahead with little to no guidance. That Friday 3 p.m. announcement happened after our middle school and our high school students were gone for the day. So that closure forced us to cancel the professional development activities that were scheduled for the following Monday that were necessary to begin organizing our flexible learning plan. So not only were our secondary kids gone for the day, but we had scheduled a professional development that following Monday to start putting our flexible learning plan together, and by the governor's order, we weren't able to do that. Once the governor declared schools would close for a 2-week period, the administrative team had to prioritize our work. PD advised us that all school functions must cease for a 2-week period of time, that we all had to vacate our buildings, and that schools would not be held to the 180-day minimum requirement. Since that time, there have been many different interpretations regarding the 180-day minimum, and at this time, we're still unsure of how this closure will impact our school calendar. We decided as an administrative team at that point, we really had to prioritize our work moving forward, and the first thing was to be concerned about our students who needed breakfast and lunch. So our first priority was to provide breakfast and lunch for a large percentage of our student population. To my knowledge, we were the only school district in the Lehigh Valley ready to do so on that following Monday. It was a really amazing and quick turnaround from Friday at 3 o'clock to be distributing breakfast and lunch that following Monday. And we really need to thank Mr. Simonetta and Mrs. Pietro and Mrs. Emili, as well as our food services providers, for making that happen. And it's still happening to this day. Second, we also had to allow our parents to pick up any student medication that had been left behind. And that process needed to be developed that would also maintain the social distancing that was necessary while providing those critical medications to students. At the same time, while all that was happening, we immediately began providing COVID-19 information and resource pages on the website. And those pages have been frequently updated since that day. We also immediately set up an email and phone extension since the governor ordered all buildings closed except for essential personnel. Because no one was staffing our offices, we needed to develop a method for parents to ask questions and receive responses. So we set up a central email and actually forwarded those phone calls initially to Mrs. Emili's work cell phone. And she was great about getting back to people immediately. We then began developing home learning activities for students K through 12 and posted them on the website. This was only possible because of the collaborative effort on the part of our district and building administrators, our subject coordinators, and many of our teachers. Keep in mind that all of this was done on a skeleton crew while maintaining social distancing. So we couldn't meet together, and we mostly were conducting a lot of remote meetings, but we did indeed get the work done. Many teachers began preparing on their own resources for students before we even made contact with them. They also, many of them, made contact with their students and did and continue to go above and beyond the call of duty to provide our students with remedial and extension activities. Throughout this whole time, we were getting conflicting advice from the governor's office, PDE, the U.S. Department of Education, and even school solicitors across the state regarding the need to provide FAPE and what that meant for flexible instruction. To date, we still have not received any clear direction, and many school districts have decided to move forward with providing classroom instruction regardless of the potential consequences. From our perspective, we are committed to providing all of our students equitable learning opportunities and the support they need to be successful, so we're forging ahead. Easton Area School District has scheduled a remote teacher in-service for tomorrow for all K through 12 teachers and administrators. As a district, we'll be working together, more than 650 of us, using technology to coordinate our efforts. The process of developing platforms for hundreds of people to remotely communicate took time and creativity. But right now, we are fully prepared for a productive day tomorrow of collaborative planning. The distribution of iPads is scheduled to begin tomorrow. This is a huge task for a district of 9,000 students. Parents have been completing a survey to help us determine the need for technology in the home, and our tech crew and administrators are painstakingly developing a plan to distribute devices to any student in our community who needs one. In addition, we've been providing families information regarding free internet from RCN and Service Electric. We can all use tonight's board meeting as an example of how we've been forced to change our work and what we've been able to accomplish in the past 2 weeks. We've continued to work on the task at hand in many new ways despite the target constantly moving. We are conducting daily remote meetings and working collaboratively with the IU and with local school district officials, doing everything we can and are able to do remotely. We are adapting while still getting the business of the district done. Anyone who's ever led or worked for an organization of the size of the Easton Area School District can attest to how difficult it is to create wide-scale change. I'm extremely proud of the flexibility and agility shown by the members of this organization. And the best is yet to come. Beginning tomorrow, teachers will be jumping feet first into the 21st century and beyond while we reinvent the system of public education. Teachers will be using a combination of online learning activities and hard copy packets as needed to review content and provide new instruction. We know that it won't be perfect at first, but I'm extremely confident in our teachers, staff, and administration as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters. Students and their parents can expect frequent updates between now and Monday regarding the specifics of our plan and the necessary steps to get started. Many of the efforts I outlined this evening, and so much more that has been happening behind the scenes, has been a group effort on the part of many individuals. Our administrators, our tech department, our teachers, our school police, our custodial maintenance staff. I cannot thank them enough. I obviously can't mention everyone tonight, but I would be remiss if I didn't personally commend and thank Mrs. Amelie for her incredible leadership during this very difficult time. Alyssa has been working tirelessly with our directors, principals, and business office in coordinating the majority of the work behind the scenes so that I can continue my work with the IU and other superintendents as I lead our district during these challenging times. Thank you, Alyssa. Finally, I cannot wait to be back in session. I miss our students, our faculty, and our staff. I know I'm blessed to be working in an outstanding school district, and I look forward to the amazing work we will accomplish in the future. At this point, any questions from the board members? Any comments?
No, Superintendent Pebrata, I really appreciate your thorough review of how things are going to be rolled out. I know as board members, we've been privy to communications as this has been ongoing in terms of the work in progress from when it was started. It's really difficult for the public to know just how much had to be done in a short period of time to be able to get to where the district will be at tomorrow. So, thank you for that comprehensive report.
You're very welcome. And I will say, literally as we're speaking, the plans are being shared with our teachers, our faculty for tomorrow, and a lot more details are coming out to parents. We know that we're going to have to make some adjustments along the way. We've got our iPad distribution plan in place, as I mentioned. We probably will have to extend that, and we may miss some people the first time around, but we ask our community to be patient with us as we develop this new method of delivering instruction for as long as necessary. So thank you, everyone.
And if I could just add, Mr. Pecoraro, that, it's apparent that even though the schools have been closed the past 7 or so days, that I would say nearly everyone in the school district continues to be working. There's no, everyone's doing what it is they need to do, even if it means they're doing it from home, but the work of the district is still continuing, and it is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. And I can tell you many of those individuals are working evenings, weekends, far more hours than we typically work in what is always a busy work week during the school year to prepare a district this size to launch on Monday. So again, be patient with us, but I think people will be impressed with what we have to offer.
Okay, I think on your other parts,
Yep.
we were going to have reports on the community college budget, actually report presentations, live presentations. We were scheduled from the community college as well as IU unit. Obviously, they no live presentations this evening, but the board members did receive comprehensive packets on both of those budgets to review so that they could be on the board agenda for action this evening. I'm correct.
You are very correct. And so that we did put them on the agenda for action this evening. I'm pretty sure the board had both budgets for at least a week or more to review. And so Mr. Simonetta is on the call as well, and he can chime in here, but he and I are both satisfied with the budgets that we put in front of you tonight.
Okay. All right, if we can proceed through that to section 3 on reports. We'll start with Colonial Intermediate Unit 20, Mr. Snyder.
Yes, thank you. Just very briefly this evening, the most recent newsletter has been scanned and it's in digital form to the board director, so you can, I appreciate Allie for doing that. And the only other item is that our regular scheduled meeting tomorrow has been postponed. I don't know that we are going to be doing a Zoom meeting. We may just end up having to reschedule it or just piggyback it with next month's meeting. So other than that, that concludes the report from the IU.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. We'll go to Easton Area Public Library. I believe, Mrs. Ramirez, you had scanned that report to the board members. Okay. So the board members did receive that report. Career Institute of Technology, either Mr. Guth, Mrs. Hess, or Ms. Price.
And Mr. Guth I think, was the only one who could attend the last meeting, so he gave me his update, and that is basically they're looking to fill any retiree positions, and the other part is they're looking to see how they can also be able to hold their meetings while we're going through this little situation. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mrs. Hess. We'll move to the community college. And I believe the vast majority of that report was going to be on the budget, so we have that in our hands. We'll move to the Foundation for Easton Schools, Ms. Seaga.
Thank you, Mr. Chando. As you all know, sadly, one of the items or events that had to be canceled as a result of the current pandemic was the gala that had been scheduled for March 21st. However, in reaching out to all of our sponsors and ticket purchasers, the vast majority, I think really almost everyone, was more than happy to allow the foundation to hold on to those funds as they go to such a good cause in our school district. So I don't believe that our teachers or our students will suffer in any way, through loss of funds for those grants. So that's really exciting. And we do hope to still be able to honor our honorees at some sort of celebration. If Lafayette is able to open their campus again at some point, we have to wait and see. But sooner than that, we will be proceeding with an online version of our silent auction. And there are going to be many great items that people will be able to bid on. And as soon as I have information about the details there, I will get that out to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Seaga.
Thank you.
We'll move to the Charles Schwinn Science and Technology Initiative, Mrs. Hess.
No report right now.
Okay, we'll move to Eastern Area Student Council, Executive Board President report. I don't believe
There's nobody present this evening. Nope.
Okay, Parent Teacher Association.
Nobody present.
And association reports. If there's EAEA or any other associations, we don't have any. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move to section 4, and this is public to be heard on agenda items. And I believe Mr. Superintendent Pipperato provided the procedures for this evening. And he will be moderating that portion of it and recognizing any individual from the public that would like to speak on a particular agenda item.
Actually, I think Mrs. Amelia is going to do so, but
Okay, thank you.
whatever works.
So this is down time for anyone in the public that is tuned into the meeting to be able to speak on a particular agenda item.
The chat feature on your Zoom meeting, if anybody from the public would like to speak, please enter your screen name and then your real name and your address, and I will unmute you for your 5 minutes that you have
At this point, we don't have anybody in the chat signing up for public participation. Mr. Chando.
Okay, thank you. And we will move to section 5, executive session report. And for the public record, the Board of Education held executive sessions on February 18, 2020, and on March 3rd of 2020. Move to section 6 for the minutes. Before I move through with the rest of these sections, just as a reminder to the board, since we are doing this remotely, we're going to be doing roll call votes. So that once we receive a first and a second, I'll then ask Mrs. Ramirez to call the roll so that we can be accurate on how everyone is voting, since we're not present in one room. So with the approval of minutes, I'll ask for a motion to approve the standing committee meeting minutes for academics, educational technology, and student supports, buildings and grounds, budget and finance, and personnel negotiations held on February 4th, 2020, as presented.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Mrs. Ramirez, the roll call.
Mrs. Press mute on yours. You're good now.
Good.
Mrs. Hartman Fittinger. Mrs. Hartman Fittinger. Dr. Keegan. Ms. Price. Mrs. Hess. Sayago. Mr. Snyder. Mr. Whitman. Is that a yes, Mr. Whitman? Mr. Chandler?
To section 7 personnel, and because we're dealing remotely, I'm going to try and move large segments of the agenda by blocks, but I will still go through and identify each of the items. So under personnel, I will look for a motion to move 7A through 7N as presented. Now 7A is 2 retirements, 7B is administrative contract for the HR director, 7C, election of an administrative employee. 7D, election of long-term substitute. 7E, election of support staff. Section F, 7F, election of volunteer coach. 7G, election of support staff substitutes. 7H, election of summer employees. 7I, approval of the attached leaves of absences. 7J, approval of contractual changes to extra pay for extra duty units. 7K, stipend for the interim middle school principal. 7L, approval of the superintendent goals. 7N, approval of the 5 MOUs. And 7N, approval of the attached EAEA and ESP resolutions as presented.
To Chandler, there are only 3 MOUs under M.
Sorry, that was a correction because two of them
Yep.
were resolutions.
You got it.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any
Mr.
clar-
Chando, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but I think Mrs. Ramirez might need us to identify ourselves for a motion and a second.
Yes, please.
Okay, if we can backtrack and do that, please. Who moved it?
I'll go ahead and move this one, okay?
Okay,
That's me.
and second?
Ed.
And Dr. Keegan will second it. Is there any need for questions or clarification on any of those items?
President Chandler, let me bring up my previous point, so we don't have to vote no for the entire package.
Okay.
we're gonna be able to just vote no for one specific item.
Correct.
Yep.
Do I do that now, or?
When roll call, you can identify that then, Mr. Whitman. Okay, Mrs. Ramirez, the roll?
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess?
Abstain on 7B, yes to the rest.
Ms. Ayaga?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider? Mr. Whitman?
Everything yes, 7K.
Mrs. Hartman Finger?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes. Make a motion to carry. We'll move to section 8.
Oh,
Academics,
Mr. Shando, I'm sorry to interrupt. But before we do that, I'd just like to congratulate Dr. Burris for being approved by the board this evening. I know he's probably watching out there, so congratulations to Dr. Burris. We're excited to have you on as our new Chief Human Resource Officer. Thanks, George. I apologize for the interruption.
I would hope that, whenever we can meet, okay, that we can certainly invite him to a meeting so that everyone, on the board and public can meet him.
Absolutely.
Okay? We'll move to section 8, academics, educational technology, and student supports. And I will look for a motion to approve 8A through 8G. 8A is approval of revisions to the school calendar. 8B is approved agreement with Loving Care Agency, Avana Healthcare. 8C, approval of course additions to Eastern Area High School curriculum. 8D, approval of the Eastern Area High School jazz band trip. 8E, approval of student conference request. 8F, approval of an agreement between Gold Canyon University and the Eastern Area School District. 8G, approval of an affiliation agreement between the Science College and the Eastern Area School District, pending board solicitors review as presented.
So moved by Meg.
Second by Susan.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or clarification needed?
Just a question of the jazz band trip is, obviously, it's still on May 23rd.
As of now, it is, and, we'll take it, obviously, 1 week at a time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, that,
Oh, that's next school year, sorry. That's to Germany. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, Mrs. Ramirez, the roll?
Ms.
Ms.
Price?
Price?
Mrs. Hess?
Yes.
Ms. Ayaga?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider? Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman Finger?
Yes.
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes.
All right. We'll move to section 9, budget and finance. I will move one or two of these separately. 9A, motion to approve the assessment appeal settlement as presented.
Motion by Brian.
Second, Meg.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hess?
Yes.
Ms. Ayaga?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartman Finger?
Yes.
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mr. Chandler?
Carries. 9B, motion to approve the payment of bills for the general fund, special activities, capital projects, and food service as presented. Motion, please.
Susan, motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Paul, Mrs. Ramirez?
Ms. Ayaga?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider? Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman Finger?
Yes.
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Mr. Chandler?
Yes. Motion carries. Move 9C.
Motion to approve the 2020-2021 Northampton Community College budget as presented.
Motion by Jody.
Second, Brian.
been moved and seconded. Any questions? Roll call, Mrs. Ramirez?
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartman?
Yes.
Dr. Schiffman?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Chandler?
9D, motion to approve the 2020-2021 Colonial Intermediate Unit 20 budget as presented.
Susan, motion.
Second, Brian.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman? Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Snyder? Mr. Chandler?
Motion carries. I'll ask for a motion to move 9E through 9H. 9E, approval of the 2019 tax rebate program. 9F, approval of donation of non-roadworthy vehicles. 9G, approval of a lease purchase agreement with Apple Incorporated Technology. And 9H, approval to establish student activity at Easton Area High School as presented.
Susan, so moved.
Michelle, second. Meg?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or clarifications needed on those motions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hartman? Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Snyder? Mr. Whitman? Mr. Chandler?
Those motions carry. We'll move to section 10, buildings and grounds. And I'll look for a motion to move 10A through 10D. 10A, approve the renewal of a disposable contract with Schuren Incorporated. 10B, approval of the purchase of projector equipment for Easton Area Middle School. 10C, approve the rental and installation of fencing for Palmer School property. And 10D, authorize the solicitor to file the necessary paperwork for writ of summons against JBM Mechanical and Train Company regarding the chiller project at Forks School as presented.
Motion, Brian.
Second, Ed.
Okay, they have been moved and seconded. Any clarification or questions on them? Roll call, please.
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Snyder? Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman?
Yes to A, B, and C, and for D, I am abstaining.
Mr. Chandler?
We'll move to section 11, other business. We'll move 11A. Motion to approve the expulsion hearing waiver form for student number 24769 under the terms presented.
Motion, Ed.
Second, Susan.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Snyder? Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman? Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
D, motion to amend and/or correct the school board's action of September 19, 2019 to reflect a start or beginning date for Mr. David Caprato's employment as superintendent of the Easton Area School District to be November 4th, 2019. The ending date of this term shall continue to June 30th, 2024 as presented.
Move, Meg?
Second,
Second.
Susan.
Okay, you have those, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Hess? Ms. Ayaga? Mr. Snyder? Mr. Whitman? Mrs. Hartman? Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mr. Chandler?
Motion carries. We'll move 11C. Motion to approve the 2020 Board of Education goals as presented.
Motion, Jody.
Second, Meg.
It's been moved and seconded. Motion, please, or motion, vote call, please.
Ms. Iacocca?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartranft-Gettinger?
Yes.
Dr. Keegan?
Yes.
Ms. Price? Mrs. Hess? Mr. Chandler?
Motion carries. We'll move to section 12, public to be heard on non-agenda items. Once again, as we did for section 4, this is the opportunity for the public to address the board on non-agenda items. Please follow the directions that were previously given, and I believe Mrs. Amelia, as you had said before, Superintendent, would be addressing that.
Yep, so again, the directions are up in the chat section, so you can read them, as well as just use the chat function if you'd like to be heard. While we're waiting, I'd just like to thank the board for hiring me again. Appreciate it.
Just a little language technicality that had to be adjusted there, Mr. Caprara.
Oh, well, thank you. Mrs. Amelia, I'm not seeing anything on my end. Are you seeing anything? George, Mr. Shander, you want to give it a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
How to address it.
Maggie changed rooms.
There are a lot of students out there, it looks like. Maybe one of them want to chime in and add anything?
How can we sign their agenda so they can get credit?
Yeah, if they type in the chat, there'll be a record of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because you could view the chat logs after this.
Did anybody see that smiley face that came up on the screen before?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
a heart.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Oh, wait.
All right, Jonathan's here. Oh, and a smiley face.
Are we letting this happen?
Well done.
Good to see you. Oh, now we're getting on.
My daughter's out there. She
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Julia, are you still listening?
Are you all excited to start learning again on Monday?
Well, the students who are here are already doing work. They got,
Excellent.
they have to do this for an assignment, so they're ready to go.
I love knowledge.
Extra credit, as you can see at the bottom.
Oh. Yeah, they don't want this hour to go wasted.
No.
Sure.
We appreciate them being part of this meeting. We have great kids at Easton.
All this streaming everyone's doing too, all these meetings. My wife's conducting another one, Boy Scout troop.
So we still don't have anyone, Mr. Pepperoni?
We do not. I think
Okay.
we're safe to move on.
Tried to make the accommodation for anyone in the public being able to address the board on agenda items or non-agenda items. So we'll move to section 13. Any other business from board members?
Once again, I know we set it up, but thank you, Dave, and your team, Alyssa, and everybody involved with this. This is an amazing thing to be part of this. I don't know if we'll ever get the chance to do it again. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or not, but thank you very much. This was, I hate to use an old term, but it was pretty cool.
thank you to the administration. It's a lot of work to set this up, and this technology is very, very robust. It's very, very, no one has used this before. I think they're seeing that this technology is really, really amazing. So thanks again to the administration. Like Dr. Keegan said, a lot of work to get this organized and get this going, especially for something like this, the meeting. We have to do this. This is, procedural. We have to do this as part of our, yep. Thank you.
We should definitely thank Ally, obviously, but also Ann McIntyre, who's in the back of the room here, and she's been instrumental, along with Alyssa, to get the technology set up. And I'm sure I'm missing someone, but well done, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. And just before I ask for an adjournment for the adjourn the meeting, certainly I would like to chime in and sincere thanks and appreciation. Yeah, there's the Easton in hearts. Okay. Sincere thanks and appreciation to Superintendent Picarotto, his administrative team, and really the staff. As David noted before, there are many people that have been, working either remotely and or coming into the office there.
Can I clear it now?
To be able to put everything together, whether it is this meeting, whether it was the academic plan that will be rolled out tomorrow, and just to be able to keep the district up and running through these most difficult times that we're faced with. They've been working to ensure that the district is still functioning and putting the plans in place for delivery of instruction, which we heard this evening. Thank you to the public for your understanding in how we wanted to continue to hold the meeting, but at the same time, practice what all the safety precautions that have been outlined by the President, the federal government, and the state of Pennsylvania. So that was no small task to be able to try and get that done. Thank you, Superintendent Picarotto. You know who's in attendance there physically. I want to thank them for their attendance and helping us out this evening. No one knows how long our community and our country is going to be faced with these unprecedented threat to really humanity. We can only hope that all the actions and the safeguards being done at this time will diminish the effects of this virus that is really crippling the world. And my wish is for everyone to stay healthy and to stay safe. And once again, I think on behalf of the board, sincere thanks and appreciation to our administrative staff and our team there to be able to put forth everything so that we can have education beginning starting tomorrow. So thank you.
Starting Monday.
Monday, yes, but the teachers will start with the planning and.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely, George. Good point. Yep.
So once again, thank you to everyone. It's very much appreciated. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
President Shandor, one comment before we adjourn, Mr. Whitman. Yeah, I want to just explain my vote on 7K, because I don't want this to appear that it's some kind of reflection on Mrs. Trinkle, because it's not. From what I hear, she's doing a great job. But I felt that the $15,000 stipend for Mrs. Trinkle was, we're going to use the word extravagant, especially given the fact that we're going to be paying her for a time period, 4 weeks, and she's not physically doing both jobs. But I feel, again, that a generous $500 per week stipend is more than sufficient, retroactive to her first week on the job, and then paid for the weeks that she's actually doing her job. But the board voted that way, and I support that. But thank you, Mrs. Trinkle.
Thank you, Mr. Whitman. Okay. With that, unless there's anything else from the board, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Susan.
Second, Ed.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Mrs. Ramirez, the last one.
She put all her stuff away.
Mrs. Armstrong.
Yes.
Dr. Keegan. Yes. Mrs. Parker. Mrs. Hess. Mrs. Iago.
Yes.
Mr. Snyder. Mr. Snyder. Mr. Whitman?
Yes.
Mr. Chandler?
Yes. Thank you everyone.
Sure. Yeah, I was, yes, I was muted.
Yeah, Brian's muted.
The thumbs up was for, so. I did my thumbs up. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Good night. And Ally, great job, man. Really well done.
Oh my God.
They were driving you nuts there, weren't they?
I kept clearing because I was afraid what they were gonna draw, some inappropriate picture. I'm not on the meeting anymore, right? No. Oh. Well, that worked okay.
I think we should do that for every board meeting.
I know. You know what, the
They're
only
like,
part,
we don't want to have to do this anymore. I'm like, oh, I certainly don't mind.
yeah,
Scott, you don't mind, did you?
No, it's nice and quick.
yeah. Next time we can just do it from our own houses now that we know it works
You know
fine,
what?
right?
You're right.
Yeah, because we
Absolutely.
could share the video of the Zoom and that would be sufficient instead of just the YouTube. Oh,
Sorry
YouTube is
about
still
the
going.
sound piece.
No, that was,
I had several screens ready to go, and if I didn't want to lose them.
that's fine, I understand. I didn't know how it was gonna work, and it was, as soon as I muted you when you were talking, it was fine, and then I just kept unmuting and muting, but it worked
Thank
out, yeah.
Ally, good job.
Yeah, it's good.